Lawsalooza podcast, a legal comedy podcast where we discuss some of the most ridiculous laws and funny cases around the world while sipping on some adult beverages, all related to this week's theme. I felt red. My name's Shawna. That's
an imposter. We can all say that. I'm Shawna Basilko.
No, I'm Shawna Basilko.
So sorry, guys. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't customize it for you.
No, that's my bad. Okay. Jeez Louise. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Okay, let me get it together. Welcome to... Shit, guys, I'm sorry. Okay. I can't... Sean, I can see you staring at me outside of my eyeball. Okay. Welcome to the Lawsalooza podcast, a legal comedy podcast where we discuss some of the most ridiculous laws and funny cases around the world while sipping some adult beverages, all related to that week's theme. My name is Lindsey Reedy.
I'm Miranda Dews.
And I'm Shawna Basilko.
We're three North Carolina attorneys bringing you a unique twist on legal cases, but nothing in this podcast should be construed as legal advice. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Lawsalooza Podcast. Do you have a law or a case suggestion or just want to send us a note? You can shoot us an email at lawsaloozapodcast@gmail.com. Now for our next episode, which, if you can't tell, is going to be a funny one. We started off not being able to control our laughter, so... This week's theme is mythical creatures. Our first segment is about the alcoholic drink.
And then I have the law, where we're going to talk a little bit about Sasquatch, or, if you rather, Bigfoot.
Ooh.
That's exciting because our case is also about Sasquatches.
Is Sasquatches a word?
It is now because I just said it. I think so.
It is a word.
Oh, okay.
Or big feet? Bigfoot?
Bigfoot?
Oh, Lord.
Okay, well, if you can't tell, we're filming this after work. So, long day. It's going to be an interesting one. So the drink for today. So, I made it unicorn theme. It is not, in fact, unicorn drink. It is the pink birthday drink. I can link the recipe, but I thought it looked pretty. And we have unicorn sprinkles and icing on the rim. So... Cheers.
Oh, wait,
we have cotton candy.
Oh!
What's it for?
I forgot the next step. Oh, honestly, I was going to throw it on there for decorative purposes, but I may just drop it into the drink and make it even sweeter.
It feels fluffy.
Do we put it all in there or just a little bit?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to do what my heart feels.
This is the fluffiest cotton candy I've ever felt.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually an aggressive amount of cotton candy.
Yeah, I feel like I pulled off way too much, too.
Oh, look,
It's
and...
fine, just pop it down in there.
Alrighty.
Oh, stuck to my fingers.
It looks like a...
Cheers!
Ooh, that's a diabetes in a drink.
I like the icing on the rim.
I like sugar.
So what's in it?
So it's tequila, this, I cannot for the life of me, orange liquor, and then raspberry lemonade, and fresh lemon juice, which took forever to squeeze and get enough to make the drink.
You're better than me. I would have just gone to Starbucks.
And asked them for fresh squeezed lemons.
Yeah.
Do they do that at Starbucks?
They did it last week, so...
That was simple syrup.
I know, well.
I'm gonna be honest. The icing with the lemonade is maybe not the greatest combo.
You also have an aggressive amount of icing on there.
That's true. There's a lot on here.
That's good, though. I like that.
And it's so pretty.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely have that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of a zoom in. Oh, mine's ruined because I was licking it, but still. Oh, man.
Okay.
Wrong podcast.
Oh, Lord. I think we should move on to the law.
Yeah.
What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
let's quickly.
So, this week's laws, yes, you heard that right. I said laws, as in plural, has to do with Sasquatch, more commonly known as Bigfoot. A couple of different locations, including the U.S. and Canada, have laws regarding this elusive creature. The earliest reference to Bigfoot dates back to the 1840s, when a missionary named Elkanah Walker published a story about the creature that he named after a Native American word that was anglicized as Sasquatch. That's too many big words.
Anglicized?
Yeah, what you said. What did I say?
Angelicized.
Well, I wanted to make him an angel.
Well, maybe he is.
Do what you feel is
Yeah.
right. It's fine.
What's the word again?
Anglicized?
Yeah.
That
What
one?
she said. Well, on April 1st of 1969, a board of county commissioners in Skamania County, Washington, created an ordinance making it illegal to kill Bigfoot. In fact, it would be considered a felony, and you could be punished up to 5 years in prison and fined $10,000. Interestingly enough, this was originally started as a joke because massive amounts of people were flooding the county with illegal assault weapons trying to hunt Bigfoot. They were flooding the Pacific Northwest, and the people of that county were just tired of it and thought, let's figure something out. We got to get these people out of here. The board enacted this law to persuade people to hunt Bigfoot out of their county. So don't come there if you're wanting to hunt. This law did exactly what the county wanted. It keeps lethal weapons away, it promoted a sanctuary county for Bigfoot, and it allowed for scientific research to be conducted on the creature. So you could go there and research Bigfoot, but you just couldn't kill him. So keep your weapons away, bring your binoculars, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I have no words.
I don't know what to say to that one. That just feels okay.
The ordinance was amended in 1981 because, come to find out, you can't actually cause or create a felony to be charged against someone for killing Bigfoot. It can only be a misdemeanor. You can only serve 1 year in jail and a $1,000 fine. They didn't have the authority to declare it a felony.
Why?
I don't know why, but maybe because he might not be real.
Yeah.
Or because it would be classified as an animal or something?
Yeah, we had this discussion earlier. If these mythical creatures are animals or other.
Or other.
Well, I think it depends, right? Mermaid seems more person-like.
Right. Well,
Right?
Bigfoot,
Maybe it's a scale.
Is he?
Bigfoot is like a giant monkey or something.
You might have just offended people.
I probably did, and I apologize. I do not understand Bigfoot. I don't know. Can it talk? I don't know. I don't know.
He hasn't been caught.
I don't have any facts about this.
I don't know if anybody has real facts, so I think you're in the clear. I think you get a free pass.
Well, similarly, in Canada, Mr. Mike Lake of the Canadian Mounted Police petitioned the Canadian Parliament to create add Bigfoot to the Species at Risk Act. Mr. Lake personally believes that the small number of sightings of Bigfoot has to do with the fact that he's endangered and wanted him added to this endangered species list. No word on whether that has actually happened.
I am going to go with no.
But there's a flip side to all of these laws that are trying to protect Bigfoot, in that Oklahoma has a much, much different law. In 2021, so fairly recently, an Oklahoma state lawmaker introduced a bill to establish a Bigfoot hunting season.
Okay, so Bigfoot's not endangered in Oklahoma, but
No,
is
not in
endangered in Canada and possibly Washington.
Is Bigfoot a species or an individual being? Are we talking about
I think it's a
entire-
species.
Yeah. Well, there can't just be one and lived since 1840, right?
You don't know that. We haven't done enough scientific research. Maybe his lifespan's like 800 years. And it's just one Bigfoot all these people are seeing that's just traveling around.
What about the Yeti that's in a whole different country?
Isn't that a Yeti a different species?
Yeah, it's different, right?
Isn't it like the abominable snowman?
He's just a different color. He's white.
I know.
Bigfoot brown.
I know that because he lives
But he
in
lives
the
in-
snow.
Yeah, he lives in a colder climate.
So,
Like the bears.
yeah, they're like bears.
Polar bear versus black bear.
Yes. Well, in Oklahoma, they did establish a Bigfoot hunting season, and it requires you to get a hunting license for Bigfoot. And if you capture him, you get a whopping $25,000 reward. This legislature is meant to increase tourism, and it has.
Well, I'm sure it has, but isn't that kind of a safety hazard? Or, I mean, Bigfoot arguably looks very human-like, right?
Yeah, so you just be shooting at anything that was large and
If you have a
around
license
2 feet.
for it, apparently.
Has anyone shot a Bigfoot in Oklahoma since they started this?
No, but there has been 106 sightings.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you listeners out there. You know of any other Bigfoot laws? If you do, leave us a comment on Facebook or send us a message.
Alternatively, if you have spotted a Bigfoot, I am very interested in finding out more
Yes.
information, so please let us know if you've had a Bigfoot sighting.
Oh yeah, if you have video, definitely send that to us.
Of the Bigfoot sighting.
Yes.
to be clear.
Yeah, not just random video.
No. All right, so now it's time for the case. Moving right along. So, our case I'm really excited about because it is about Bigfoot. Did not know Shawna had a Bigfoot law. But it's not related to the law, shockingly.
So there are more laws.
Wow. This is more about the lack of a law.
Oh.
So I'm going to be talking about the time very recently, actually shockingly recent, where a woman from California sued California for failing to recognize Bigfoot as a creature that exists. So,
What?
yeah, so it's going to be a wild ride, so just prepare yourselves.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this happened, so the scene is California 2018. Okay, just paint the little picture for you. It's
What
California. It was in San Bernardino.
That's where I was born.
Oh, okay. So maybe you have seen a Bigfoot there or something.
No, it's very city-like.
Which is what makes this all the more interesting.
Oh, Lord.
So a woman by the name of Claudia Ackley was on a hike with her I believe it was 2 children, in 2017, sometime in 2017, when they came, what she says is face to face, in quotation marks, with a Bigfoot. Because then she later says the Bigfoot was 30 feet up in a tree, and that's not really face-to-face, but she alleges that there's a video of this said encounter, which I did watch because it is posted online, and it's in one of the articles that I'm going to link. So if you want to check it out and tell me, do you see a Bigfoot? I did not see a Bigfoot. I saw a whole bunch of nothing. I even paused it and like zoomed in and could not see anything that was not tree or shadow.
Well, for the shadow, was there not even like an outline
No,
that you could maybe make out?
I could not make out an outline
man.
at all. Anyways, besides the point. So she's hiking with her children. They see this Bigfoot in a tree, 30 feet up in a tree. She describes it as having despite being not face to face, in fact, because you can see her in the video and it's quite far away, but regardless, she describes it as having a barrel chest, a head 3 times the size of a human, which I don't know if she means its head was 3 times the size of a human or its head was 3 times the size of a human head. I feel like otherwise it's a little bit extreme, and weighing 800 pounds. So how she could really detect all that from quite far away and up in a tree, I do not know. But anyways, her and her children took off running. The encounter lasted like a millisecond, and after that she decided, my state of California does not recognize Bigfoot as a creature, and this is an issue. So she actually called, she wanted to report the sighting, so she called, I think the Wildlife and Natural Resources, or, whatever, to be like, hey guys, I was hiking in San Bernardino. I saw a Sasquatch and I want to report to you guys. And they were like, LOL, what? Like, that was their exact reaction. They were like, that was a bear that you saw. It was just a bear. There's tons of bears that live around here. It was a bear. It's up in a tree. That's a bear. That's what bears do. They're out in the woods climbing trees.
That's what bears do.
Was she in the mountains?
I don't think so, because it was like her and her kids with a little dog hiking around. So I would not think so. But again, unclear. Somewhere where there was trees. So anyways, she was
her backyard.
Super could be. I don't know. She was super offended, and she was like, "Well, this is just a gross injustice. This has to be righted." And so she decides the way that she can right this horrible wrong that's occurred to both her and the Sasquatch is to file a lawsuit in court, which she does in fact file one in the San Bernardino Superior Court, civil court, where she sues the state of California, specifically the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and the department, their branch of the Department of Natural Resources, or the Natural Resources Agency in the state, because she said they failed in their duty to not recognize. That's the claim. But it's also, I'm going to link the entire claim that was filed. It's, again, one of the articles that I researched, so you guys can read the whole thing for yourself.
In your spare time.
It's in your spare time. I would definitely recommend reading. It's about 7 pages long. Gold. True, just gold. So anyways, she gets joined in this lawsuit. She's not the only plaintiff. She also gets this man by the name of Todd Standing, who is a documentary filmmaker from Canada. Apparently, he did make a documentary on Netflix about the Sasquatch, about his, pursuit of Sasquatch or something. I did not watch the documentary, full disclosure. Did not. Probably am not going to. He, at the same time, had a suit in California and British Columbia as well, kind of for the same, for nearly the same thing, with almost the same causes of action and all of this. So basically that they're saying that the state has failed in its duty to protect the Sasquatch, and it's also infringing on the constitutional rights of the plaintiffs. And so just think about that for a moment. We'll get to that in a minute.
Constitutional rights of the plaintiffs.
Yes, this is where it gets really good. This is where it just gets really good. So we'll get to that in a moment. So they also start putting out, they filed this on their own, first of all. It's like a handwritten thing.
Man.
Well, not handwritten. She typed it up. But they did it on their own.
That's always great.
But it gets better. So she files it. They get a court date set that's supposed to be mid-March 2018. And kind of in between filing and getting the court date set, they actually find licensed attorneys who want to help them with their lawsuit. So she also starts kind of teasing all this information about the upcoming court date, saying that her and Mr. Standing are saying that they have enlisted the help of people with PhDs, wilderness experts, wildlife biologists, fingerprint experts, police forensic officers. They say that they have got all this compelling evidence to show to the court, which is fingerprints, footprints, DNA evidence from hair samples, to present to the court. And at least Mr. Standing said there is no way that the court will deny their claim. That they have, they said, proof beyond reasonable doubt, which is not the standard that applies to civil suits. That's the criminal standard. But if they had that, then they've gone beyond their duty for a civil suit to prove the existence of Sasquatch. However, I read the whole complaint. They don't allege any of that. They just make a whole bunch of allegations about the infringement on rights. And it's just kind of we'll get to that. But they don't mention their evidence or anything like this. So
What do they compare the fingerprints to, I wonder?
It was not in their complaint. I don't know. So anyways, at first I read that she had contacted an attorney and they told her to dismiss it. And I was like, oh, good, a reasonable attorney. And then I read to the next sentence, which is because she didn't do it the right way. They want to help her do it the right way. And I was like,
oh.
Okay. So anyways, she voluntarily dismissed the action on March 15th, a couple days before the lawsuit, and then the court obviously accepted that because they were like, we're going to dismiss this anyways. But I couldn't find that she had re-brought the complaint, but apparently there are a large network of attorneys from all over the country that are helping bring this action. They're going to try to bring it again, apparently, saying that Bigfoot is real and all of this stuff. And so so just so you guys know too, there is a Bigfoot community out there, which I will link.
They might be a part of it.
No, they're not. There's a database to check credible sightings and reports, and you can self-report. And so I clicked on there to look at different. So if you guys have a bunch of spare time and you want to look at this, definitely do. Super cool. You can click on any state, and then in the states it'll list all the counties. You can see how many sightings, when they were. They're all self-reported, so the credibility, I don't know, because I don't see how they're actually fact-checking this, because it's just some rando going on there and being like, I saw Sasquatch last night at midnight.
Were there any here?
Not in Raleigh, no. But there was a Sasquatch sighting in Johnston County, which is very nearby.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, you guys can just read about it. I read it and I was like, I don't know, this is credible. Some dude was like, it was 2 a.m. I was driving on the road and there's a Sasquatch. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But
I'm
super
look into this.
Entertaining read.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Bigfoot community, which I believe is the community responsible for compiling that, came out and made a statement, and they said, this lawsuit, of all the other things in the world, this lawsuit in particular was bad publicity for them, because they said now no one will ever take us seriously because people were taking them seriously before. That's my question. So also I wrote down a couple quotes from, and we're going to get more into the lawsuit, but Mr. Standing, who's one of the plaintiffs again in the suit, he says in an interview, to my haters, I will show you a Sasquatch, which I'm like,
to my haters?
Is that a threat? I will show you a Sasquatch. I feel vaguely threatened by that. What are you going to do?
Is he training them, maybe?
I know, that's
training an army of
Sasquatch.
Militarized Sasquatches. And then Miss Ackley
probably made a new movie.
Honestly.
Well, I would like to receive proceeds for that. I'd say 85% is fair. It will be like a D-list movie. I'm fine with that. That's cool. Those movies are fun sometimes. If you're really bored and have nothing else to do. I don't know. Anyways, Miss Ackley in an interview, which is shortly before this case was dismissed, but while it was going on, that she says this, and I was like, well, this just doesn't sum up the state of things today. What does? She says about the existence of the Sasquatch, it's my opinion. I've never researched it. I believe it's true. And I was like, ugh.
Oh.
Okay. Ooh. I feel like that is America in a nutshell, or literally any Facebook argument in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's my opinion. I haven't researched it, but I believe it's true. So.
Wow.
Anyways.
Well, at least she owned it. She did own it. She's like, I didn't research it, but.
So also, so she apparently would continue going back to the site of where she allegedly saw the Sasquatch, to the tree, I guess, where she saw it, and she maybe still does this, leaves snacks like soda, chips, things like this. She left voice-activated picture books, I assume the ones, for babies that have the button that's the cow says moo or whatever,
Yeah.
Because she wanted to communicate and let them know that, I guess she was trying to teach them how to read. And I read something else that said she would write labels on soda, chips, because I guess they can read, I don't really know what, the purpose was of that, but she wanted to prove to them or show the Sasquatch that, oh, we're friendly, we have chips, we have cola.
We labeled them for you.
We do. Here's a book. Which, imagine if they do exist and they're, highly intelligent and they get this, picture book for a toddler and they're like, what the heck is this? And they're super insulted.
Yeah. Here she is thinking she's, building a shrine for it, giving it offerings, and it's what?
Of all the things to give it.
Exactly.
I don't
know.
Book.
I don't know. I guess it's the thought that counts. But
Also, you might want
what
a
if
pillow.
Yeah. What if Sasquatch is a health nut? Soda and chips? Come on. Give him some variety.
But, yeah. Well, also, too, I mean, like, these articles are just gold. So I read another article, and it said that this was actually not the first time she had seen a Sasquatch. So apparently, back in, I think it was 2014, she had gone to Washington State, probably because of this law that you found, and they have, you can go on a Bigfoot trek vacation, I guess, and so her and her then husband went on a Bigfoot trek, and she claims they saw a 5-foot-tall Bigfoot, and
that's small.
Yeah.
It is small. It's shorter than me. But she said that the majesty of the creature inspired her to change her life, and that which included a huge dramatic weight loss. So kudos to you, Miss Ackley, for that. But also inspired her to divorce her husband. So don't really know what's going on there. But
inspiration is she getting from Bigfoot?
I mean, maybe there
Was she gonna marry him?
Yeah, really.
I don't know.
That might be next week's episode.
Like, there were no more details, and so, I mean, I have to imagine something else was going on, but also just the way it was worded was just so funny to me. Like, I saw this Bigfoot and was just like, bye.
Yeah. What a majestic creature. Like, moved her.
I guess.
Wow.
So, back to her claim. It's 7 pages long, and it's mostly just, like, kind of repeating the same thing again and again and again and again and again. But I wanted to kind of summarize the main points, but I wanted to make sure I captured the essence, so I just got some verbatim. So, in the claim, I guess Miss Ackley and Mr. Standing, they say that they had years of knowledge and access to reputable scientists, despite saying that she never researched it, and invested her own time and resources to Sasquatch research. So I don't know if that implies that she utilized the knowledge and scientific resources, or if she just like knew that, scientists exist. And then she goes on to state that the state has access to the same resources, but has not conducted Sasquatch research. And so that was one of the claims in there. Again, I don't know that the state's necessarily compelled to research a Sasquatch just because they have access to science.
I think they might have bigger problems.
Yeah, I think we've got other stuff going on that takes priority, but
well,
what do I know?
Maybe not. Sasquatch should be our first priority, but apparently also I learned this in researching all this. There is a scientific name for Sasquatch. I do not know how that works since it's not been scientifically proven to exist, but yet there is a name out there. There are two. Gigantohoridus hominoid or Gigantopithecus.
Translation?
Sasquatch. Translation, Sasquatch. So can you just imagine, like, if you're just a Sasquatch out there living your best life and you find out people are calling you Gigantohoridus, like, rude.
Yeah, it sounds ugly.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
Yes.
Like, horrible. And so also she says too that the state failed in failing to recognize Sasquatch. They're not protecting the public, and I'm like, then why are you going out there and giving it chips and soda if you think it's like scary and gonna kill you?
Yeah, so
like
dangerous.
I'm sorry, if I think something's gonna kill me, I'm not gonna give it chips and soda.
Not gonna go out there and be besties with it.
Or a book, no. And if I know where it lives, I'm just definitely not gonna go to where it lives. I'm gonna stay very far away from that location.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it'd be super cool to not be like mauled to death by a Sasquatch. Whatever. Anyways.
That'd be an interesting story. Like, getting checked into the hospital. What happened to you?
Sasquatch mauling. Trying to give it a picture book. I did not want it.
Being involuntarily committed.
Oh yeah, straight away. You're going straight to the psych ward.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is where it gets even better in the complaint, at least. And by better, I mean, it kind of made me facepalm a lot because I'm like, of all the things going on in the world. But anyways, so the complaint goes on. She complains that her fundamental human rights are being infringed upon, civil and political, on the basis of political or other opinion, which I don't think other is a protected class.
No.
But anyways,
What?
She says that the right being that their failure, the state of California's failure to acknowledge that Sasquatch is to acknowledge a Sasquatch is an indignity to her fundamental rights, not the fundamental rights of the Sasquatch, which may be an animal and not, have fundamental rights protected by the Constitution, but her fundamental rights are being infringed upon by the failure to acknowledge the Sasquatch.
I'm so confused.
Okay, well, it get me too. So she says, and another right, kind of, I guess, all part of the other opinion in civil and political rights was that she cannot take people on a wildlife viewing expedition to see the Sasquatch in her state. So we're just going to let that sit out there for a minute.
But she can't find it again, so what
Exactly. So it goes, their denial, this is, again, in a different paragraph, so it's just like the same thing, again. So their denial of the Sasquatch, or I guess refusal to acknowledge the Sasquatch, diminishes her credibility. I'm like, well, I can see that.
Oh,
damages her dignity,
grief.
Subjects her to embarrassment and ridicule, and infringes her right to establish a legitimate Sasquatch-based business. And that is exactly how it's worded. A legitimate Sasquatch-based business.
What?
So, although part of it, I'm like, lady, I feel like you kind of subjected yourself to this when you were like, hey, I saw a Sasquatch, and someone said, no, it's a bear, and then you just never let it go for, like, years.
Well, all these other places have great legitimate businesses.
But not California,
Washington.
okay? And she lives in California, and she wants to make one in California.
They will accept everything there.
So, well, not the Sasquatch, apparently.
I bet if you opened a Sasquatch business, they would take it up.
So she
just didn't try hard
She's
enough.
gone on to say that is also so there's more to the indignities. It has also infringed her rights to freedom of expression, right to freely impart information and ideas, and her right to be free. Her right to be free. This is the kicker. From cruel and unusual treatment.
No.
Which, first of all,
no.
Yeah, she really went there. Eighth Amendment. She went there.
No.
She went there, which, first of all, is cruel and unusual punishment. Not at all applicable for everyone out there who's curious. Not applicable to this situation whatsoever. It's to protect you from the state inflicting, which I guess the state of California maybe was inflicting, but it was specifically refers to punishment for criminal offenses and not a state not recognizing your claim to acknowledge that a perhaps a mythical creature exists. So the cruel and unusual punishment, again, not being able to establish a legitimate Sasquatch business and being ridiculed, which I would argue, again, you subjected yourself to the ridicule by continuing to bring it up every chance you got in a super public venue. I mean, there was like a Facebook group about this when I was researching. There was a GoFundMe type thing associated with this. So, I mean, at some point it just gets so public that I'm like, is it really the state that's really killing you?
TV timeout. So, okay, just jumping back, you said an attorney ended up helping her refile this?
Well, they're working, they haven't refiled it yet. I don't think they filed it yet. I couldn't find that it had been. So, this original suit was, she voluntarily dismissed it because I guess if they had gone to court, it would have been dismissed because there was the state's answer, and it probably would have been dismissed with prejudice, so you can't refile, probably, is why the attorney advised her to, dismiss it now so you can get without prejudice, we can clean this up, we can file again. And so I know that I read that she had an attorney in Texas that's helping her, so it sounded to me like a whole team of attorneys that are really helping to bring this case.
Who jumps on board and is like, I'm going to take this on as my passion project? Like,
well, I would, as the state of California, immediately file a motion to have her evaluated for her mental competency.
Yeah. Absolutely. But so also interestingly in the complaint, she never alleged. So again, like I mentioned before, they said they have all this myriad of resources that she just says, like, I know of scientific people, and but they say that they've got these resources, this evidence, like hard evidence, DNA evidence, fingerprints, footprints, etc. None of that's ever alleged anywhere in the complaint. So it kind of seems like it would be a 12B6, failure to state a claim, just dismissed right off the bat, because they don't even back up their claim with anything. It was just like, I was hiking with my daughters, I saw a Sasquatch. let's move on. Now my fundamental rights are being violated. And so, like, there's no pictures, no video, nothing. They don't say where they saw it. And the reason is...
Did she even try to do anything? Like, open a store and it was...
As far as I know,
or
no.
she's just alleging?
It seemed like just allegations that she couldn't because they would say she was defrauding people because California doesn't recognize Sasquatch. Which I still feel like you probably could open up business, but I don't do business law in California, so maybe not. Like,
they sell unicorn stuff, I bet.
But anyways, yeah, so she said she couldn't tell people in this lawsuit where the Sasquatch was because if people knew, because it wasn't being protected, because it wasn't being acknowledged, that she was afraid people would go and try to kill the Sasquatch. So she couldn't even tell where it was.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. And so... kind of going off of that, I mentioned at the beginning that Todd Standing, the man from Canada, who also had a lawsuit in Canada and joined this California suit, he filed a suit very similar to this. Again, the pleadings are online, and I read them. It's almost the same. I don't know if he had an attorney. It kind of seemed like maybe he did, but regardless, he filed suit in British Columbia. That was denied by the court in September 2018, so just a few months after this case was dismissed. And the court said they dismissed it because it, quote, lacked an air of reality, that his rights were not being violated by their non-acknowledgement of the Sasquatch as a creature that exists, because it didn't prohibit the plaintiff, Mr. Standing's, ability to express his thoughts, beliefs, or opinions on the Sasquatch. So... most likely, the California court would have dismissed it for those same reasons. Because again, you subject yourself to embarrassment, credibility, damage dignity. That was kind of on you by bringing this and just like never letting it go when people were like, this is definitely a bear. Did she try to open a business? I don't know. So who knows that was being infringed upon. And you can espouse your ideas, whatever ideas you have, as long as they're not like inflammatory hate speech, without it being a violation of a right.
Yeah.
So like people weren't trying to silence her from speaking about Sasquatch.
They were just airing their other opinion, perhaps.
But some people's opinions matter more than others.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm going to vote no on that one.
And also, well, Shawna, it's my opinion. I've never researched it, but I believe it.
Well, what even? What? First off,
that's special.
what kind of free time do you have to bring that kind of lawsuit?
Not the kind I have.
No,
for sure.
But also, too, as an attorney, if some client called you and was like, I have got a guaranteed $1 million lawsuit,
Slam dunk case.
Sasquatch, I would be like, get out of my office.
Oh,
yeah.
I cannot even imagine. Like, I'm thinking about one of my business owners coming to me and being like, I can't open a Sasquatch business because of this, and I don't even know what
You'd
you
be
did.
like, call Miranda and Shawna.
Yeah.
We got you.
This ain't my problem.
I can get you divorced from Sasquatch. That's about all I can do, so I don't know that I would much help.
Yeah, I do criminal law, so I
can't
guess
help
if you got assaulted by a Sasquatch, I could help you out there or something.
And make sure you're not
Or if you
subjected to cruel and
if you
unusual
yourself assaulted the Sasquatch, I guess, and then got arrested,
Yeah.
I could help you out.
Yeah.
Because I would not represent the Sasquatch, I assume, in the original hypothetical I just gave that didn't make sense.
Does any of this make sense?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Wow. I don't know what to do with this information.
Definitely let us know what you guys think.
Yeah. And please let us know if you've ever seen a Sasquatch. Or if you can show us a Sasquatch like Todd Standing claims to.
Oh, yeah. We promise not to hurt the Sasquatch.
Or make fun of you.
Or disclose its location publicly.
Yeah, disregard everything being said in the podcast before this. You won't be made fun of.
You will not be subject to ridicule.
At least by us.
Maybe. No promises.
Well, thank you for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, where you will find up-to-date information and episode discussions. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye!